All right, so we're here today. We're going to be talking about retirement and the power of residual income. I'll be breaking down some numbers, so that's why we got the board here as well. And hopefully you'll be able to see this and be able to get some of these numbers and some of these notes as well. And this all started, when I went to college, I graduated with an economics degree. And when you go to college, you can choose what you want to go to college for. And the reason I chose economics, because economics had to do with money. And I figured that if I could learn about money and where it goes and who creates it and how it flows throughout the economy, I figured maybe I'd be able to find my way to get my hands on some. And after I graduated college, I jumped into a career as a financial advisor. So I spent 3 years working with families on their personal finances. I was a Series 7, Series 66, life accident health, licensed financial advisor. And when you have a career like that and you're helping people with finances, different financial advisors choose different paths. Some financial advisors choose to specialize in certain things. And some of them specialized in investments, some of them specialized in protection planning, some of them specialized in tax planning. And what I chose to specialize in was retirement planning. Because I felt that if I can know enough about personal finances and help people manage their personal finances, and I can help them invest and plan and prepare for retirement, and I can get a lot of people to retirement, then I should have no problem getting myself to retirement. I found out that after you graduate college, you know what you have to do after you graduate college? You got to go to work. And then I looked around and I found out and I saw what that really meant. And a lot of people were working 30, 40, 50 years until they were able to retire. Now that retirement sounded good to me, because retirement to me meant that we can do what you want, when you want, and you don't have to go to work anymore. So I was really intrigued with this idea of retirement before I even start working. Because I found out, if it's going to take an average person 40 years before they can retire, maybe I can figure a way to do it in half that time. So my goal, I was always intrigued with this retirement, this idea of doing what you want when you want, which was retirement. So as a financial advisor, I really got into that particular area of the career, and I specialized in retirement planning. So after studying the topic and figuring out that there's many different ways to go about doing it, pretty much the main way that people retire is to save up enough money. And when you have enough money saved up, then you can live off of that and you'll be able to retire. But the question always is, how much is enough? How much do I need? And how much can I really save? How long is it going to take to get there? So after working in this career for 3 years, I made the transition into the career that I've been at for the last 14 years with American Income Life. And the biggest reason that I did so was because of residual income. What I found is that we can either save our money to retirement or we can build a retirement income for ourselves in the form of residual income. So I'd like to break down some numbers for us and let us really understand what it takes to build a retirement portfolio the traditional route, and let us know that there's other ways to go about building a retirement situation and true wealth for your family. And it doesn't always have to be in saving your money. So understanding how much would it take to retire? Well, a lot of people want to know, let's use $1 million for instance. If you saved up $1 million, how much would you be able to retire off of from that investment? So the College of Financial Planning recommends to have a withdrawal rate of 3%. So that means that if you retire and you want to live off of your retirement assets, how much should you pull from your retirement portfolio? And the answer that they would say is you want to pull about 3% a year. So if you have an investment and you take your retirement portfolio and you invest that portfolio, you should get a return on that investment. So when you have your retirement portfolio, you don't want to put it at risk and put it at a highly risky investment. So to keep it safe, you could probably put it in and get a 5% rate of return on that investment. So assuming a 5% rate of return on your portfolio and living off of 3%, then if you grew by 5%, but you were living off of 3%, your portfolio would still technically grow by 2%. And at that rate, you'll never eat into your principal necessarily, and you won't diminish your retirement portfolio. Now, the one concern with that is inflation. A lot of people don't take into consideration that, but inflation is going to also be a factor. So you got to know that if you grow by 5%, you take out 3%, what's inflation? If inflation is 3 or 4%, now you're really looking at, you're pulling 6 to 7% out of your portfolio, and it's growing by 5 as far as in purchasing power. If you want to take a look at what would $1 million get us, $1 million would get us about 3% a year we could live off of, which would be $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year is $2,500 a month. So if you saved up $1 million, you would probably be able to retire with around $2,500 a month or so. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think $2,500 a month is going to provide a dream retirement for us. So $1 million saved up, it's definitely a great goal, and it's definitely something to be proud of. But having $1 million saved up is really only going to yield us $2,500 a month, probably not our dream vacation. So let's do some math on that a little bit and figure out how long would it take for us to even have $1 million saved up. So let's say we start today and we want to save up $1 million. How long would that really take? Well, let's just say that you saved $50,000 a year for 20 years. If you did that, you'd have $1 million saved up. Well, how do you save $50,000 a year? That's basically about $1,000 a week. So if you save $1,000 a week for a year, you would save $50,000. And if you did that for 20 years, you'd have $1 million saved up. So I don't know many people that can save $1,000 a week, let alone do it consistently for 20 years. But if you did do that, congratulations, you'd have $1 million saved up, and you can retire if you wanted to with 3% a year, which is $30,000, and you'll be able to take home $2,500 a month. Now, $2,500 a month today might not be too bad, but $2,500 a month 20 years from now, if you take into consideration inflation, is not going to be able to purchase us the same things that it's going to get us today. In fact, it'll be about half, because the cost of things are going to double around every 22 years or so. If you want to figure out how long it's going to take for the cost of things to double, we can just use the rule of 72 and backtrack that. So basic rule of 72 says what? It says you take 72 divided by whatever interest rate we are getting. And that's going to equal what? That's going to equal how many years it takes. So years it takes to double. If you want to do the same thing with inflation, all we do is we take 72 divided by the inflation rate, and that's going to tell us how long it's going to take for the price of things to double. 72, let's divide that by, what's the inflation rate? You want to use 3.5%, right? I think people are saying inflation today is even more than 3.5%. So 72 divided by 3.5 equals 20.5. So at that rate, every 20 years, the cost of things are going to double. So if you're getting $2,500 a month today, okay. But if you're getting $2,500 a month 20 years from now, you're only going to be able to purchase today what $1,250 will be able to get you. So you literally can save $1 million 20 years from now and basically save yourself into poverty. because $1,250 a month is definitely not going to provide the retirement that we want to get to and that we want to be able to do what we want when we want. So now let's take a look at averages in the United States. The average person, how long does it take for them to retire? And then when they do retire, what type of retirement does that provide to them, right? So the average person right now would take 42 years to retire. So you can look it up, you could Google it. The statistics that they're showing is it takes 42 years. So you go like this, you take 42, okay? And then when they retire, what type of retirement income is the average person taking home? And right now, it's $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month. So we got 42 years, $4,000 a month is what the average retirement gets. Now, retirement is supposed to be doing what you want when you want. I just can't see $4,000 a month providing a lifestyle to where we can do what we want when we want. Especially if you want to provide for your family, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, and you have a big family, you know, that's obviously going to be limited to some extent. The way that most people are going to go about retirement is they're going to go about it in a way of trying to save up enough money to retire, right? And we got to figure out how much is it really going to take. If you wanted to retire with $10,000 a month, what would that look like? Well, we already know that if you save up $1 million, you'll be able to have $2,500 a month in retirement income. So if I need this to be $10,000 a month in retirement income, then how many millions do I need to have saved up? Well, 2 million would get us $5,000 a month. 3 million would get us $7,500 a month. 4 million would get us $10,000 a month in retirement income. So if you wanted to retire with $10,000 a month, then we got to have a game plan of how we're going to get $4 million saved up and invested into real estate, into retirement investments. Now, the thing is if you save your money and you put it into retirement investments, traditional retirement investments, a lot of those, you're not allowed to touch them till you're 59 and a half. Here's the worst thing, is the person that works 42 years, they get their retirement accounts. When do they get their retirement income? If you work 42 years, when do you get your retirement income? After you retire, right? So what I want to talk about is there's a way to build residual income, you know, and be able to generate the same power without having to necessarily save the money. So in our industry, in our business, let's talk about a way to build the same sort of power. So the average person in our business with our company, okay, I'm going to go over their numbers. The average person, okay, is with our company after 4 years. After 4 years, the average person with our company takes home residual income over $4,000 a month. Now, where does that come from? Our company is a life insurance company. We help families protect the most important thing in the world to them, which is their family. And every time we help a family put protection in place, we now are building more residual income for ourselves. If I help a family and I help them protect their assets and their livelihood, every single time that they make a payment into their program, we receive compensation again, over and over and over, as long as they have that program in place. And what we work with is life insurance, and when people have life insurance, they keep it in place, or they should keep it in place for their whole entire lives. This is 4 years. After 10 years with our company, 10 years, the average is over $10,000 a month plus. So after 10 years, you're going to be able to build a residual income in a business, and that's going to be able to pay you $10,000 a month. Now, with that, If you wanted to do that traditionally, you would have to save up $4 million. Here, you don't have to save up any money at all. When you go the residual income route, you don't have to save your money. You can spend it all if you needed to, and no matter, as long as you do the work, you're going to have $10,000 a month in residual income. The biggest thing is we don't have to wait till we're 59 and a half to start receiving it. You know, you start receiving your residual income after your first year of being with the company. So the biggest thing to drive home is the power of residual income. We can take our time, we can take our energy, we can take our effort, and we can put it into saving money. But that's going to also, when you save money, you know what you can't do? You can't spend it, you can't use it, you can't do nothing with it. So a lot of people in America are going the traditional route to try and retire, and they're having to save all their money, which is putting them in a bind, because now it's either A, I can get some extra Christmas gifts for Christmas, or B, I can save money for retirement. A, we can get dessert after dinner, or B, we can't get dessert because I need to save money for retirement. Taking a look at the future, one of the most proactive things that we can do is to build residual income, because we know one day we are going to want and need to be financially independent. But more and less, we know that we have residual bills, and we know that in the future, those residual bills are still going to be there. 5 years from now, I know I'm probably going to have a cell phone bill. I'm probably going to have to put food on the table. I'm going to have to eat dinner. I'm going to have some transportation costs, right? And if you know you have residual bills that are going to be coming on a monthly basis, then one of the best things that we can do is to build residual income to help pay for those residual bills. You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing something over and over and expecting different results. You know, one thing we can do proactively is build residual income now for those residual bills that you know you're going to have in the future, so you don't get caught off guard. All right, so to summarize what we put on the board, to wrap up some of these numbers, you know, it's taken the average person 42 years to retire with a measly $4,000 a month. And there's better ways to go about doing that. Sure, we can save more money. Sure, we can work harder. You know, sure, saving money is the traditional route. But I want to encourage us to think outside the box and build a residual income for yourself and for your family, because the power of residual income is going to far outweigh the power of having some money saved up. We just did the math, and you could see you could even save yourself into poverty in a sense. So if you have $10,000 a month of residual income coming in, that's the same thing as someone else saving $4 million. Let's break that down. If you have $2,500 a month in residual income coming in, that's the same thing as someone else having $1 million saved up. If you have $250 a month coming in residual income, that's someone else having $100,000 in their retirement account. And what's great is in our business, we have people after 1 year, they're getting over $1,000 a month in their residual income. And if you do the math on that, that is equivalent to having $400,000 saved up in their retirement account. And I can't imagine you going to work and then after 1 year waking up and looking in your retirement account and seeing $400,000 in there after 1 year. That's a heck of a career. And that's happening every day here in our agency and with our company. So that's what really excites me. As I was always excited about residual income, I found an opportunity that provided the greatest opportunity to earn that residual income. And now we're helping thousands and a bunch of thousands of individuals, you know, achieve their dreams and goals, and they're living their very best life because they get to actually enjoy the fruits of their labor and they're building something for themselves and for their families. So it's the power of residual income.